Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to War Thunder, one of those games that I've just been playing far too much of recently. Now you're probably here due to many reasons, one being that maybe you're just procrastinating on the internet, and you've found this video because you've literally got nothing better to do. Alternatively, you could be here because you're trying to look if you should or should not get the Tiger 1H. And that's completely reasonable. It costs a lot of research and a lot of lions to unlock and buy, so you're probably not sure. Alternatively, you could be a Tiger 1H driver, but you're not doing very well with it, which was once again completely acceptable, as I'll explain later in the video. But don't worry, that's why I'm here. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know in fairly detailed explanations, and in the end I'll tell you if it's worth buying or not if you haven't already. Now time for a bit of a history lesson, because yes, I was that one kid at school who actually enjoyed history. Now the Tiger, or Panzerkamppwagen 6 Tiger 1 Ausf H, as it's fully known, was a heavy tank designed by Henschel, I believe that's pronounced, in 1941 and saw active service from 1942 to 1944. Now, only 1,347 Tiger 1s were built during the Second World War, this of course including the Tiger 1H and E. Now, when the Tiger first saw combat, it was the heaviest tank in the world, coming in at a massive 54 tons, and that is without ordnance and crew. But despite this weight, it was still very fast, coming in at 28.2 miles an hour, which, for its weight and time, that is very impressive. This was made possible by Maybach's HL210 engine, capable of 650 horsepower. However, this was later changed to the HL230, capable of 700 horsepower. At this point you're probably thinking to yourself, well, all this information's all nice and good, but really I want to know how well it did in combat. And the answer is, well, quite well, or at least through the first year. You see, most of the tanks it fought at this time were not capable of beating it. An example of this would be the M4 Sherman, of which the Tiger was capable of penetrating from around 2,100 meters, or 1.3 miles, when alternatively the Sherman could not penetrate it frontally from any distance. This made it have total domination on the battlefield, and forced the Allies as well as the Soviets to very quickly upgrade their own arsenals so that they could stand a fighting chance. Now I could drone on about the Tiger for absolutely ages, but you're probably all asleep by now anyway, so I might as well wake you up by talking to you a bit about its abilities in War Thunder and how well it actually does in game. Now very quickly I'm just going to go through the overall rundown of the Tiger. As you can see, front on you have 102mm here, which is awful. Seriously, just try to avoid combat, well, close range combat at all possible situations. And this armor is pretty much the same all around, ranging from around 135 to 102 for frontal armor. This is pathetic. Put it very simply, it is absolutely pathetic. You do get 200mm here, but look how small that area is. Yes, that might stop a shot, but that's only if you're incredibly lucky and someone actually hits right there. As for the sides, 82 and 82, not bad, but you can do quite well with them, as I'll show later. And under is 62, which is pretty weak in fact, and is a good place to shoot if you want to kill a Tiger. The back's 82, as well as the back of the turret, and the tracks are 30mm, which means that, well, nothing really. Doesn't really mean anything. Now, at this point you're probably thinking to yourself, how can I defend my Tiger? And the best way is by using actual World War II tactics, which is angling. Put yourself at a 45-degree angle when fighting another enemy tank. As you can see, the armor is a lot better. offering 140 here and about 140 there. It's very good, and it means you'll get, not only will most shells just ricochet, but also for the few that will connect, they have to go through a lot more millimeters, means you'll have less velocity, and overall you'll just do better from it. Now, let's say you're trying to attack a tiger, and you're struggling to beat them, which I genuinely don't understand why people always complain about these, because they're pretty terrible, but I'll go into that later. But the best way is to either shoot under here, where there's only 62 millimeters, or shoot up here in the commander's capula, I believe it's called. Capula? Something like that. Basically, 80 millimeters is not very good, and if you're coming at this thing head on, and you're a keen shot, or you're at fairly close range, aim for that, you'll kill the entire gunnery crew. And you may even kill the entire crew straight up. Well, that is implying that you couldn't get through the front, but hey ho. Now quickly, just for the X-ray, you've got 5 crew here, standard: gunner, loader, commander, machine gunner, and driver. Very standard. I'd recommend little ammo as possible on this because, well, you don't want to get ammo racked, and this thing has such weak armor, you will get shot a lot. Now as for the modifications, sorry I just pressed research because I'm an idiot, you're looking at 165 millimeters at best. This is okay, I suppose, but you will be up against tier 4 tanks and what have you at a barrel rating of 5.7, and they will destroy you when you comes up to combat, and these will not penetrate them, simply put. Also, you could also try the hull charges if you're completely insane, or the high explosives if you're completely lost it. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking to yourself either one of two things. Either, wow, the tiger looks really good and I can't wait to get it, or wow, the tiger looks really awful and I can't see why anyone would ever want it. And debatably, depending on what your playstyle is, you will differ. But the question on everyone's lips is it worth it? Is it worth researching 75,000 research points on, and 250,000 silver lions in order to buy, and that's only just to get it? And to put it briefly, not really. I mean, it is a fun tank to drive, I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun playing with this tank, but in all honesty, its battle rating just completely cripples it as a tank. And the biggest problem with it is that you will, with a battle rating of 5.7, go up against tanks that are as high as 6.7s I've been up against, and let me tell you when I say that there is no way in hell you're going to beat them. They will destroy you again and again, and with your paper-thin armour, you just won't put up much of a competition for them, and that really puts this tank at a disadvantage. And don't let these clips fool you, because for every one good game I had, where I got a decent amount of kills in, I had to play maybe 10 games, where often I didn't even get a single kill. And the tanks that kill me the most are things such as the Centurion Mark III, the IS-2, the T-34, and the IS-2 Mod 1944, just to name a few. In all honesty with you, I think only one of those tanks should be allowed to fight Tiger 1s, that being the IS-2. But even then, with the IS-2's 200mm penetration and tendency to ricochet every shot you fire at it, even that I'd consider a bit of a push. So at this point it's very much up to you, because getting a Tiger isn't the worst thing in the world, and as you can see from these videos, it is entirely possible to get a decent score every game with one. However, in my personal opinion, I believe you'd do a lot better off with a Panther D or the Panzer 470s, these tanks having pretty much the same battle rating, but inevitably will do a lot better due to them being a lot better balanced. And that's about all you really need to know about the Tiger. So, if you did like this video, make sure to like it, I really would appreciate it. And if you feel so obliged, then you can comment, saying either how absolutely amazing this video has been, and how it has enlightened your War Thunder experience, or perhaps you'd like to say how absolutely terrible it is, and be honest, because, well, let's face it, I know better than anyone else how terrible this thing is. I had to edit it. So, until next time, I say thank you and good night.